Okay, here's chapter 4, part 2. So we just went over some aspects of underpersonals and overpersonals. Now we have undersocials and oversocials. So undersocials may be less likely to seek interaction. Oversocials, however, crave the spotlight, attention, and are highly motivated to seek belonging. Again, we don't have to be just one of these culturally. Perhaps you are more adapt to being an undersocial or an oversocial, and then a social person is a balance. Okay. So the onion theory, if you've taken speech communication or other classes, you will understand that as we peel apart our layers like an onion, we disclose more information. So we use the two words of the breadth and the depth. So the inner core is the more of information we probably don't want to disclose in early stages of friendships or meetings. The outer core could be what's your major, things of that nature. So self-disclosure is information about ourselves that we disclose to other people. Some people disclose more than others. And as we go through it, a didactic effect is the expectation that when we reveal something about ourselves to others, others will reciprocate. There's the key. So if you're just meeting someone and you're talking about, oh, I like this class, I had this professor before, and the other person's, yeah, or not committing to any type of eye contact, that's being non. You have no reciprocation there. So don't push. That's it. So in a conversation across cultures, conversation is an example of a cultural ritual. We do like a feeling of belonging, and conversation helps us. It is one of the main ways we interact across cultures, and it is ripe for misunderstandings. Yes. The first stage of conversation is called conversation initiation. Okay, this isn't rocket science, pretty much makes sense. And it requires you to be open to the interaction. As I said before, if you're not getting a reciprocation, then the other person is not open to a conversation and move on. So we call phatic communication your everyday talk. How's the weather? Conversational preview is an indication, verbal or nonverbal, of what the conversation is about, both in terms of content, in terms of relationship. So again, when you're just meeting someone, if there's reciprocation, so it's a preview to what is expected to further your dialogue with this conversation. If there's questions being asked, so it's a preview of what is to come. And in that preview, if you do not like something that is coming your way, then you know that that's not a conversation you want to continue. So we've heard of conversational talking points, which represents the essential meanings that we share in the interaction. So what did we talk about? If you went to a movie, you would talk about what the movie was about. So those are talking points, and that's usually in any kind of a situation where you're just meeting someone or continuing in a group situation or a workplace environment. Defensive communication is characterized by control, evaluation, and judgments. So we do become defensive. And while supportive communication focuses on points and not personalities. Okay, so again, when you're talking with someone, you may not have to agree with their religion and background and culture, but don't become defensive to support it. Again, we're flexible. We're talking about what the happening is or what the discussion is about, and not who is saying it. So detracting strategies involves messages or statements that take away from respect, integrity, or credibility. So we don't like detracting as statements as compared to face saving strategies or actions that protect credibility and separate message from messenger. And that's pretty much what we say when we're saying I agree to disagree or something of that nature. So understand that you're not there to agree with everything, and neither is the other person, but you're interacting, you're understanding cross cultures. If my religion doesn't allow me to have a meeting on Fridays after a certain time, I respect that. I reschedule. I make everyone aware that we're moving in a direction where everyone feels inclusive and belongs. Empathic listening involves listening to both the literal and implied messages within a message. So again, you're listening for the words, but what is the entire message? So you're looking at the nonverbal, you're understanding the feedback, you're understanding the field of experience, which is that person's background, experience, past experiences, knowledge, feelings, attitudes. Gunny sacking or backpacking is like carrying an imaginary bag into which we place unresolved conflicts or grievances over time. Holding on to the ways that we used to be can be like a stone in your gunny bag or backpack, influencing how you interpret. So sometimes if we cannot shake any of the old ways we did things, you're holding on to something that is preventing you from moving forward into a new area, a new idea. Okay, and coming up to the last one, this is what we want to happen. We want to start by listening without interruption. So you also want to, even if you're getting overly passionate about something, wait until all comprehension is able to attain before you speak. Interruptions can be internal and external, and they warrant further discussion. So, we get preoccupied. So there's your internal. Determine the speaker's intent. So again, when you are starting a conversation, when you're listening at a meeting, at a workplace meeting, you need to ask a clarifying question if it doesn't count as an interruption. We always like verification because that gives us more information. Indicate you are listening by taking notes or nodding your head or leaning forward, but do not forget eye contact, and don't nod your head too much, because a nod as you would that when you're finished and you want someone else to reciprocate, a nice head nod could give them the idea that it's their turn to speak. And restate points that you've discussed. Apologies. I don't know if you think that you may have offended someone, or if someone said they offended you. A kind, I overlooked that. I didn't understand that. I'm sorry. Okay. And if you disagree, focus on the points or issues and not the personalities. And we tend to do that. So, and that is how we understand relationships, culture, and avoid conflict. All right, thank you. I'm done.